What do we do when something feels wrong about our life? When uncertain, we go to a doctor or a physician. We take up religion, we get into philosophy, we get our chakras balanced, try some reflexology, go for ear acupuncture, get healed with lights and crystals, we meditate, chant mantras, drink green tea, we get centered, learn NLP, try actualization, study psychology, try psychedelics, get a psychic reading, jog, get into nutrition, get some insight, biofeedback, and gestalt therapy. We see homeopath, chiropractors, and naturopath, get our minerals in balance, join a conscious rising group, take tranquilizers, get some vitamin boost shots, learn astral projection, become a vegetarian, then vegan, eat only cabbage, go organic, eat no GMO, try Chinese herbs, acupressure, go to India, find a new guru, sing tribal chants, relive past lives, scream a primal scream, punch pillows, write affirmations, make a vision board, do a tarot cards, study Zen, make more courses and workshops, read lots of books, get yoga lessons, take a shamanic journey, sit under a pyramid, go to a retreat, try fasting, study magic, try color therapy, take brain enzymes and antidepressants, get an aura reading, soak in the hot springs, get grounded, get your aura cleaned. Why can't we find the answer to getting our life back on track? We can't find the answer because we don't understand the problem. Maybe it's very simple, that's why we can't see it. Maybe the solution is not out there, and that's why we can't find it. Maybe we have so many belief systems that we are blinded to the obvious. If you are someone like me who is always looking for ways to improve something in your life to finally feel happy, who is never fully satisfied with what you have, or whose life circumstances always seem worse in any way, shape, or form than someone else's, welcome to the club. That's me. You can absolutely try all of those ways that I talked about before. I tried it for myself. It didn't work. It didn't work for me simply because I didn't understand what the problem was. And I knew I needed to fix something, but I didn't know what exactly I needed to fix in my life to feel happy. Before getting into changing your life or resetting your life, I always ask myself, what is my purpose? What is the purpose for resetting my life or getting my life back on track? What is that I ultimately want to feel or not to feel? It's easier to mask the problem on the outside with a green juice or 2 sessions of yoga for that quick fix of 5-second feeling of self-worth. But what is it that we truly want to experience in life? What does your upgraded life look like for you? One of the most important practices for me when I'm resetting my life is learning how to neutralize the feelings and emotions that we have about all of our life circumstances and about ourselves. Our feelings are the results of our thoughts, and they are pretty much ruling our life. So how this whole process starts for me, based on the research that I've done, we have our thoughts that are constantly keep going through our brain, and then these thoughts cause the feelings and emotions that we experience in life. It does sound logical to tackle the root of the problem, that is the thought, but psychologists claim that this is pretty much almost impossible because there is no way for us to battle our brain. There is no way for us to reconvince ourselves that one thoughts are better than others. But since our thoughts are causing our emotions that in their own turn cause all millions of other thoughts, it is more beneficial for us to focus on how we feel and on emotional component of this whole chain of events that are going on. And when we are focusing on the emotions that were caused by a specific thought, we ultimately influence the original thought. And in the situations that are similar to this in the future, we will probably think in a little bit of a different way if we were able to cope in the right way with the emotions and the feelings that we have that were caused by this thought. Human beings are in general very emotional creatures, and for us it is essential to learn how to cope with the thoughts the right way. I truly believe that whichever feelings we're experiencing in real life, we are transmitting these feelings into the outside world, and these feelings create certain circumstances for us that we receive back from the world. The feelings that we are sending into the world are gonna get back to us in a way, shape, or form of circumstances and outcomes that make us feel a certain way, make us feel the way that is aligned with the original feeling that we sent into this world. I know it may sound a little complex, but I promise you that you will understand where I'm heading with all of this. When people are giving us all this information about the law of attraction and saying that we need to experience high vibration feelings and positive emotions, they never telling us what we need to do with the negative emotions and the negative feelings that are already bubbling within us. So I've always thought that it's a little strange because I'm forcing myself to experience positive emotions when deep inside there is so much negativity in me that it's kind of looks like layers, like I am laying my positive feelings on top of the negative ones. I'm sort of masking it, trying to lie to the universe and to this world, hey, look at me, I'm so positive and I spread all these positive emotions, why doesn't my life change? I can compare it with a dirty table. You have a dirty table with lots of breadcrumbs on it, and then you put a tablecloth on it, pretending that it's clean and tidy, but at the same time under this tablecloth there are still all of those breadcrumbs sitting there. When I am focusing on resetting my life and when I want to attract more positive circumstances into my life, the first thing that I do, I'm trying to neutralize all the negative emotions that I'm experiencing and thus to give space to the positive emotions that I'm trying to attract. I really like this part in David Hawking's book, Letting Go. He's saying that when we neutralize the negative feeling, we at the same time give space to the positive feeling, because ultimately everything in this world has its polar opposite. So it's not like we are neutralizing the negative feeling about a certain event or about a certain person and we have to now try to encourage the positive one. When we neutralize the negative feeling about this person, we at the same time make space or sometimes even start feeling the positive about this person because we neutralize the negative of it. As far as my research goes, when you're trying to reset your life, to upgrade your life, or to give space to positive feelings in your life, there are 4 different ways of handling your feelings. And the first 3 are most commonly known, and I turned to those 3 in the past and it wasn't really productive for me. It didn't help me get my life back on track or reset my life. And the 4th way is something that no one really knows and no one really talks about, and this is exactly the one that helps to reset your life the best. The first way to cope with your emotions is suppression and repression. It's kind of the 2 sides of the same coin. Suppression happens consciously. It's pretty much self-explanatory. When we suppress our feelings, we pretty much keep the feelings inside us, suffer through them, and try to carry on with our lives. And when we repress the feelings and emotions, we subconsciously use denial and projection as the best methods to cope with our feelings. And in denial, we have a psychological block, and sometimes we don't even remember certain events, or we don't remember what caused this feeling. We don't remember the feeling in general towards a certain event or a certain person. And when we turn to projection, we blame others and the world for our suffering. So we blame people, places, institutions, climatic conditions, fate, luck, the devil, God, foreigners, ethnic groups, political rivals, and other things in the outside world that I cannot think of. The second way to cope with our feelings and to give space to more positive emotions in our life is to escape the feelings. And I feel like this is probably most people's favorite way to deal with feelings. To some degree, all of us turn to it on a daily basis. And it's entertainment, drinking, and work. For example, it's endless socialization, talking, texting, reading, playing music, working, traveling, sightseeing, shopping, overeating, gambling, movie going, alcohol, pills, drugs. And as a whole, I'm not labeling any of these activities as positive or negative, but only we know when we're using any of these activities for the sole purpose of escaping from our feelings or simply enjoying ourselves. The third way to cope with the feelings and emotions is kind of considered to be the healthy way, and this is to express your feelings. That's when we vent and verbalize our feelings, and for some reason we believe that is the way to go, but 2 things are happening when we are expressing our feelings. The first thing is that we give it more power. I know the times when I feel very sad, and when I start venting about it, I get even sadder, and then I start crying, and it just happens because we give this feeling more power. And the second thing that's happening is if there are people around us, when we dump the feelings on others, they experience it as an attack and they are forced to also suppress, express, or escape from it. Now, there is the fourth way to cope with your feelings and emotions that I personally believe is the most beneficial, especially if you want to experience more positive emotions in a more sustainable way. And this way to deal with your feelings is neutralizing them. It's also called letting go of them. And if we want to neutralize or let go of the feelings, we need to do three things. First, we need to recognize them, we need to identify them, and we need to take responsibility for them. We pretty much recognize that we are feeling a certain way and we allow ourselves to feel this way. We remind ourselves that this is a feeling, that this is not us, that the feeling is not us, that the feeling is separate from us, the feeling is inside of our body in some type of a blocked energy. And since this feeling is inside us, we do have control over this feeling. We can choose to neutralize this feeling or to let this feeling go. And the next thing that we do when we try to neutralize this feeling is to allow ourselves to have this feeling without resisting it, without trying to change it, without trying to moralize it. We need to try to drop the judgment around this feeling and to realize that this is just a feeling, that this feeling doesn't define who we are, because ultimately this feeling is based on the thought that just slip it into our mind, and sometimes we don't even recognize this thought, we just feel the feeling. As simple as that. And this thought could have come from anywhere. Most of our thoughts are projected upon us from the outside world. The more we try to resist the feeling, the longer it will stay within us, because as I mentioned before, the feeling is an energy that is blocked within us. But if we do not resist it, the energy goes through naturally. When I have the feeling that is caused by guilt or something that is really, really hard for me to let go, it helps me when I let go of reacting to having a certain feeling. Like, instead of letting go of this feeling, I'm letting go of my reactions to this feeling. Like, I'm allowing myself to feel about this feeling the way that I need to feel in order to process this feeling. It's like if we are scared, we can start by allowing ourselves to be scared. And then we can tackle what actually scares us. And sometimes it happens with me that I'm trying to neutralize one and the same feeling, but it just comes back to me and nothing seems to help. And it pretty much happens because we might experience one and the same feeling for many, many years in our life. And it honestly takes some time and some work to let this feeling go for us. And the most important thing when I'm trying to neutralize my feelings is to try to ignore the thoughts that are coming in that can be related or not related to this feeling, because thoughts are there to try to rationalize what we have, why we have this feeling, what is this feeling, why has it been caused, why it's not going away, why it's sticking with us, is it negative or positive. But ultimately we don't need to rationalize anything, because we can just get trapped in this thought process and not move anywhere along with trying to neutralize, letting go of this feeling. At the end of the day, we do not need to understand why this feeling came into our life, why we're feeling this feeling, like what has it been caused by. We simply need to neutralize it. And when we successfully neutralize this feeling, we notice that the thoughts that are associated with this feeling changed as well. So this is one of the most important instruments for me to get my life back on track and to design the future that I ultimately want to have a flow of positive energy into my life, and to have positive vibration and to attract positive vibration circumstances and events. Let me know if there are any other rituals, any other habits that you use when you're trying to reset your life that work for you. I am always open for conversation and I'm very excited to know about them. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you soon. Cheers!